Hi guys, we're cruising along in the daily 500 guaranteed. There is 13 places played and 20 of us left. Here's the prize pool. Not a very big one, but the joy is in winning. And here we are. Two low cards, obviously, the 4 and the 3, but they're not low enough. Anywhere near low enough with this many players at the table, 4 cards each, and the jack is just a complete dangler, and the pair of 3s doesn't help us really, unless we get one or probably more likely 2 3s. And it's been a pretty intense game. I really was struggling for a little while and had a few good hands before the break, including actually some beautiful little bluffs, even if I do say so myself, which is obviously a lot more rewarding than winning normally. And anyway, patience really is the key in this game, because I was down to about two and a half grand at one stage, starting chips of 5,000. And anyway, coasted along and it's cruising nicely. Number 53 here's had bugger all chips for quite some time and just keeps... That time he doubled up on the big blind and then the small blind. So anyway, it's his lucky day. He got dealt ace-ace last time. And 4, 5, 8, obviously 3 cards 8 and below, but only the 4 and 5 are low. You could never play this on the strength of the low hand, and there's absolutely no other really redeeming features about it. The king and the 8 don't work together. You could say you get a straight between 4, 5 and 8, but that's no more likely than hold them, and you certainly wouldn't play them there, so let that one go. And a little raise from 3. So I'm not too uncomfortable sitting around this level. We've got a few blind iterations at the moment, and it's just a matter of really playing a nice, solid, tight, smart game. Really using position and being really careful what we take into war. Oh. That would have been nice, obviously. So this looks great. We've got both way potential here and double flush potential. But the low's crap, to be perfectly honest with you. The diamonds, if we get that flush, it's no good. Even if we got the king high flush, that's not much good. I think the real problem is that there's no way of the 3 and the 6 working with the king and the queen. Now, if you're on the button, I'd be more than happy to probably limp in, maybe. But definitely folding this one in that position. Yeah, that's exactly why you couldn't possibly call that sort of raise or push with this. Totally suicidal. And we're too close to the meagre prize pool to throw it away. Look, 3 cards below 5, which is pretty much a prerequisite when there's trash like that, but the king just doesn't work, and we're in an early position, and that's what just fortifies this decision, is the fact we're in early position. Even if we hit a king, we're going to have to hit a 5, a 2 and a 3, and it'll still be vulnerable to another 2 pair, so goodbye. I haven't been really analysing these guys today. Sort of just come and gone. I was sitting on the deck playing for the first 2 hours, which was lovely. And again, had we have called that, we'd now have to go ahead with another half of our stack. Well, he would have been able to raise even more. We probably would be all in, or good enough. So again, it's just smart to be really tight, particularly in early position. And this would be great to get a free flop. I don't like our chances, but the big fault of this is there is no low. In this game, you're playing for the high and the low pot, so you don't want a hand that can only win one of them. the flush is rat shit at the end of the day, and the straight king 10, well, that relies on for at least any of 4 different cards hitting different hitting, and so you wouldn't play that for a straight, a flush, and as a pair, the 10s are unlikely to hit. Well, we got a 20% chance of hitting. Back off. So just wasting time, I suspect, as we get nearer to the bubble. And, really at the end of the day, it's not an unwise thing to do. When my stack's this guy's size, I'm sort of happy to play more hands while the blind's low, and it is a really good idea to keep an idea of your eyes on the prize, because at the end of the day, you don't get as many Omaha players, so you don't get as many Omaha places if you sort of just specialise in touny. So it's really important to place. So 17 left, and we pay 13. So 160 is actually, Christ, what's that? We're nearly 250 Australian. So it was 10 US to enter. Crikey, he's still going. Yeah, it gets a bit ridiculous sometimes, and they're really bad for it on this site. But like I said, you're not playing properly if you don't have your eyes on the prize and where the money kicks in. So really, the 15 grand, and we have to spend half that to call. So whilst the odds aren't too bad, don't forget, we're going to have to call half the pot now, and in circumstances where with this hand we would only be playing for half the pot. So, yeah, this is not the hand to turn tough, I'm afraid. Okay. Fantastic hand for the blinds, but the ace-3 is the best thing about this hand, and even that's not ever, even that's not the best you can get for a low. And with this many players, if there's a raise, I'd expect ace-2 to be out there. Obviously, the ace-7 flush is good, but their middle cards, 7 and 10, are just the sort of cards that'll get you into a lot of trouble, because if you make a straight or something out of them, it's pretty difficult to see how it's going to be the nut straight, unless you get 8, 9, 6. Anyway, see how we go. Looking good. Oh, he just flushed us, the son of a bitch, but got a boat. All right. Poker gods finally dealt justice to that scoundrel. Okay, so first of all, big thumbs up for the fact we have position here. There's no small blind, which means the pot's a bit lower, and the suits, neither of them are going to ever, be likely to really be the nut flush. We might get an ace of spades. We're not going to get ace, king of diamonds. This guy's just raised, and the ultimate criticism to level at this one is that there's no low. So the position's great, but what good's position going to do us if we call now, when this guy here is already in for 12 grand? Well, I'll be sitting here with 5,000 left. So again, this is definitely a fold. How we go? 16 left. Oh, now I'm going to waste a little bit of time too. When's the next blind? You don't want to sit here and suffer. I don't reckon we'll catch that blind if we. I don't reckon we'll catch that blind if we play really fast. It's taking at least a minute a hand. So, because this is what, he's the big blind, yeah. So I think we're going to burn up our 90 seconds time bank here. It's a low dog of a trick, but don't forget we're playing against another table. It's got the same number of players as us, and they're being just as tight. So really, if you, now at this stage, if you left too many hands go around, you're going to get blinded out if they're just being tight asses on the other table. But boring as bat shit, I know. It'd be good if one of them dropped off in the meantime, then I'd feel vindicated in this devious act of ultimate tightness. But we're not playing to make friends with these guys and girls. In fact, does anyone make friends playing online poker anymore? Okay, I know this is ridiculous. All right. Now, criticisms here. Never going to be the nut flush. They're all connecting cards. That is definitely the best thing about this. The problem is that three of those connectors are middle cards, the 8, the 9 and the 10. There's no low hand, and this joker's already basically put us all in. So I just, maybe in Omaha you could call that, but in Omaha high-low, calling that would be like very, very amateur play. Your position's no good when you're practically all in. Anyway, down one more. So only 2 more to go. So 54's not waiting for the place money. God. Oh. Don't know why that guy, I don't think he knows how to play. You wouldn't, not a good hand to push with. Pair of kings is just a pair of kings, and the average winning hand at Omaha is a straight. Right, now our hand. Suited, the queen and the 4, not the nut suit, the 4 and the 5. 2 low cards, but they're at the upper end of the low. The jack and the queen can work for a straight. But it's not a good idea to play just with 2 high and 2 low cards like this. Really, we'd need an ace in there. I know that's tight, but time to fart. Certainly there's circumstances where you would play that, maybe if you were, about to get the blind and down to your last chip, but we've got at least another blind in us, if necessary. Obviously, though, the more the merrier, the more the call, the more likely to get rid of these 2 bozos. So I'm really hoping 54 or 32 step up. This guy's got a bit of game in him. There we go. So you couldn't fold if you could not fold in 32's position, even if you had 7, 7, 7, 7. Oh. So, there we've got the possibility of a straight, but really we're only using one of our cards since there's already a 5 on the table. So it would obviously never be the nut straight, but it couldn't anyway because there's already 8, 9 out there. The lows potentials, well, if we got one more card we'd have a low, but it would never be good. This guy here would have to have an ace 2 or an ace 3 really if he sort of called from his position pre-flop, just as an educated guess. But anyway, this is shaping up nicely. I hope 32 calls too. So we have a bit of a monster mash and then we'll be in the money. Open up the gates of hell on these sons of bitches. Come on. Right. So we would have got the low straight. Straight 7-3. So I don't think we would have had the nuts there. Okay, well, this is a good hand. So I guess you can make a case for raising pre-flop or just limping with this. Oh dear. See, the problem here is we're so close to the blind, to the bubble, and look, it's just my luck to go all in and F myself. But no, let's just call. I know that's tight, but are these guys really going to disappear? Nope. Anyway, this will be good. It'll be hanging our heads up, which is better than we want to. This hand's got figures to do much better heads up than it does against a large field of opponents. So, anyway, you can see how precarious this is insofar as I'm right on the bubble and it's a difficult call to make, even though I've got a great starting hand. And the reason is that the hand equities just run so close together. I mean, he could be there with 7-2, 5-6, and he'd have a probably a 35-40% chance of winning. So, sort of times like these where you can only put your faith in the poker gods, and I've never met a more cruel, heartless bunch of bastards my entire life. Okay. There's no point waiting this out for someone else to get knocked out. So, oh dear, looks like oh no. So he's got a straight, we didn't have bugger all, and we split. No, what the fuck? Jesus. Well, there you go. What the hell? He got the high. And was there no low? Anyway. Yep. Lucky little bastard. That sucked. So, there you go. We just fucked ourselves on the bubble. Having a great hand doesn't matter. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.